Hey everybody, it's the Commodore from the Clan of the Grey Wolf, and you are watching this week's episode of the Weekly Ringer here on clanofthegraywolf.com. This week we've got a lot of work to do. I've got to wrap up the app. There's an app for that. Ringer from last week about any of the applications you would love to have for your phones or otherwise mobile device. And then I'm going to give you my own comments, as I always do, after I review all the tremendous contributions from last week. And then lastly, I've got a question for you for next week that is sure to be a cool, thought-provoking kind of question about the things that you don't even want to admit in public that you actually do as a geek. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, so I want to say first, I want to wrap up last week's Ringer. Probably was my favorite Ringer so far. It was great. All of you had such tremendous contributions with the theme songs. Thanks so much for putting all those videos up. We had a really great time, and I thought that really struck a chord, no pun intended, and it really got to the heart of why I really started this series. So I want to thank you all for really your contributions there, and every week here on the Weekly Ringer. And several of you had some very kind words and very kind comments, and I appreciate that. I'm glad this has become a part of your week as much as it's become a part of mine. Now, last week's Ringer, or the question that I asked, was about how much we had gotten sick of the idea of there's an app for that, right? But taking off on that concept, I asked the question of if you could have an app that could do anything, whether it was realistic or otherwise, what would the app do and why? And there were some tremendous contributions, of course, and I'm going to get to some of the ones that I thought were noteworthy and some of the common themes I saw out there. Oh, and I should also mention, still got the allergy thing going on, and thanks Tommy James for the ego bolstering comments about keeping the glasses on. I definitely will for the near future. As long as you guys don't mind putting up with the glare, I don't mind wearing my glasses until I can get back into contact land after this allergy thing is done. So anyway, so let's see some of the common things that I saw. I saw a lot of media ideas, media devices, controlling things like video games, having emulators or otherwise game controllers built into your mobile devices that you could have extensive access to all the libraries of games and things like that. Love that idea. That has at least a little something to do with some of the thoughts I'm going to put forward for my own app. In a little bit. Let's see what else. A lot of physics bending apps that you guys have imagined out there. One, time travel or time pausing and starting, bending the rules of time. Teleportation, transportation of some kind. That was a pretty big theme. And then also, I guess this goes on media control too, but I wanted to put it in its own little category. Controlling commercials. Being able to take those commercials off is also fantastic. I love that idea. Bending physics, cannot disagree with that. Also love the idea some people put forward, bending some of the sound properties of the world around us, which is physics, and that technically fits under that category. Love all those ideas. I could see a lot of those happening. And I think it would be really neat to have your phone that could actually work as a personal transporter. If we could do that, I think we'd be, if that happens before I die, I think that will be a pretty awesome thing to experience. Now, so to some of the specific contributions from the community, I wanted to say, Alatar, I thought all three of your suggestions were awesome. Want to point them out. Having a D&D client on the phone that's actually worth a damn and can actually help with not only some of the DM controls, but also some of the player controls inside of multi-user dungeons. It would just be awesome. I would love to see some of that. I actually was using my phone for using iPlay 4E before, which is a fantastic app. It's actually not an app. It's actually just a web-based platform. on the internet, iplay4e.com. Do not mind putting a little shout out for that in here. It's a great way to keep track of character sheets without having any character sheets at all. And it will help you do things like use abilities, track your HP, and more accurately, you can even roll dice. Obviously, it can't be truly random, but it's pretty awesome. I've used it for almost everything, and it definitely does the job. But a true dungeon client that could actually, a la the gaming table we saw at PAX East last year, I would love to see something more along those lines. A lie detector is a great idea. Why not be able to, you think somebody's giving you the runaround, you got a salesman you think is pushing the envelope a little too far at Best Buy or something, just pull out the old lie detector app and make sure they're telling the truth. Love that one. And lastly, but I thought probably the coolest, and if I were going to make a dream app, this one's going to be right up there. I would love to be able to set the apps so that in about, I don't know, an hour after I fell asleep, it would actually induce a lucid dream that I had in some way, maybe pre-programmed or had some kind of idea. Today I want to have a dream that I can fly and I can shoot fireballs out of my hands, right? If we could build something like that, that would be awesome. Because then what we really need video games for. Maybe that's another good question for another time. But if we could lucid dream, what would we really ever want to have a video game for? That's my question. That's not the weekly ringer for next week, though. Maybe we'll save that one for another time. Tester Normal. Welcome to the community, and I wanted to say thanks for the shout out for the Echo Screen Live, or not the Echo Screen Live, but the Echo Screen at work. Love to know that it's helping people get through their day. We are very glad to produce that, and I appreciate all of your sentiments there. And now, without further ado, I'm going to keep with tradition with Youngblood. Here is my scientific D6, and I will now roll it to determine what comments he actually has left. Okay. All right, and excellent. So we have the number one, which is the Elgunish Shive app, which I will now read to you the description. This app would, whenever accessed, instantly make one random law of physics fail, and the nearest professor of physics weep openly. Tremendous wording, tremendous app. That is an awesome idea. However, I think if you used it and then any of the Newtonian laws of physics ever were gone for even just 5 seconds at a time, I would love to know just the sheer numbers of car accidents that would happen all over the world. There'd just be millions and millions of car accidents in the stretch of 1 to 5 seconds if you could suspend any of the Newtonian laws of physics just with that application. So use it with caution. Maybe we can just get a bubble of influence on it. It could be very, very dangerous. Physics can be our friend as much as it can be our enemy. But I love the idea, and you don't have to see a physics professor weep openly. I would like to use it just to see Rue, who is a physicist, weep openly right there in front of me. I would pay for that app. If you can make it, I will buy it. So there you have it, Youngblood. Like I say, it's been a long time since we rolled the old die. Thanks so much for the contribution. I like that there's a little space in between. We'll keep doing that, and I can't wait till the next time we do it again. All right, now the person that wins the award for making me laugh out loud the hardest in reading your comments, maybe that could be a weekly thing now. The person that makes me get the biggest chuckle while I'm reading the comments is Estolia, who wrote that there needs to be a mute button in life. Oh, yes. Especially when someone says, there's an app for that. You can just hit the mute button and pretend like it never happened. Love it, love it, love it. Giggled out loud at that one. Fantastic job. I have to say, there are a couple references to the kind of Adam Sandler Click movie controls. But this one definitely got me going. I love the idea of being able to just kind of mute somebody and just pretend like it's not there. Just silence the baby that's crying, in the movie theater or on the airplane, and the possibilities are endless, right? So I love the idea. I think it's probably one of my favorite apps that we've listed out here.